You were kind of talking about the need for the artistic side of trying to facilitate some change and stuff like that with veterans as far as, you know, moral injury and stuff like that. I know you've been doing some stuff with a writing group. You want to expand a little bit about that?
Yeah, a few years ago, I partnered with the Missouri Humanities Society to host a writing workshop here in Springfield for veterans and their immediate family members. And that just really resonated with the people who participated in it. And it fits into the mission of Moral Injury, or at least the philosophy of the Moral Injury Institute, is that the first step toward wellness for moral injury is to tell your story. And that's a hard story to tell because it's very private, painful, and resists, you know, just casual conversation most of the time. So using things like writing is a way of allowing a person either to share personally, privately, or to share with others stories that matter to them. And so we did with the VA Vet Clinic again, Vet Center rather, again, we did a group writing class, we called it, or writing group, for several months, started last year and into this year, where we would meet once a week and I would share some writing instruction techniques and ideas and kind of writing starters and kind of find out what the participants were interested in terms of writing styles, and then we would practice writing. And so over a period of months, that group moved from, many of them moved from not being a person who ever wrote about anything to being someone who feels confident and competent now to get into a writing experience that is expressive, but it's also therapeutic.
Gotcha.
And for example, you know, we've had participants who are in mental health care for PTSD and other mental health issues who have found that the writing, even though they were reluctant to do it, once they began to experience it, allowed them some freedom of expression and to get in touch with their own inner self in a way that they hadn't been able to before.
So the results from that have been pretty good all in all, as far as the feedback from the participants?
That's the way I measure it, you know, and these are all military veterans, so that's the only audience that I've worked with around writing yet.
Now I know there's kind of a shift happening with that right now.
Yeah, we paused the group to kind of get a fresh start, recruit a new group, if you will, and in the process, Wellness for Warriors has invited me to do a month-long Wellness for Warriors sessions on writing that will be internally available to all Cox Health employees and medical workers, but it'll also be available to the audience of Wellness for Warriors, you know, the military veterans, first responders, law enforcement, and so forth. And so in June, every Friday, during the 9 o'clock hour, Wellness for Warriors, we'll do 4 Fridays of writing.
Where's that going to be at?
It'll be here at the Meyer Fitness Center.
Same
I guess
time,
it's,
same place?
yeah, Conference Room B, I think it is.
Gotcha.
And right now, the access to the building is easier. Some of the changes in the pandemic have allowed people to come and participate in person, but there'll still be an online version recording of the sessions, so if people can't come here, they can access it virtually.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you're not a therapist or anything like that, but I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. So you've used this this background, this writing workshop with veterans, and now you're kind of transitioning that to a little bit more like the EMT and the first responders and the healthcare providers. What do you think that's going to look like?
We're focusing around just a slogan. I have a story to tell.
Okay.
And that may, as it was experienced, as you and others experienced it in the writing group, it may not be a therapeutic or journaling experience. It can be. And journaling is certainly advocated, and it's something I will present in that training, in that seminar, as an option for personal wellness. But it may also just be something that keeps getting it's a trauma memory that keeps getting triggered and played over and over, in an individual's memory mind. And that keeps that trauma effect alive in their lives. And so sometimes, as in the philosophy of Moral Injury Institute for moral injury recovery, to tell the story, to tell that memory, to get in touch with that memory and then get it outside and where it can be shared or analyzed or thought of objectively
Gotcha.
is a pathway toward mental wellness.
Well, I know, obviously with the last several years, the health professionals and stuff like that have really kind of taken a hit and, been overworked, and
Yeah.
Seen some pretty new experiences and stuff like that, and having to deal with that, long hours and stuff like that. This might give them that outlet to kind of, voice that out a little bit.
That's the idea behind this effort, and that anyone who's worked at any level of public service or healthcare through the pandemic has gone through extraordinarily personal and professional stress, and it leaves memories that are disturbing and distressing. It can even cause, and in the case of moral injury, not being able to do something is as damaging as doing something that hurts. So if you're in a context where someone experiences harm, no fault of your own, but the situation or the rules and the regulations, whatever, keep you from doing something you in your conscience feel is the right thing, then you can step away from that feeling angry or resentful, or even have a sense of guilt or shame. And so but telling that story in your own way, in your own words, at your own time, is something that too often doesn't happen because of the press of, professional life. We just move on to the next thing. And one of the ways I'd like to describe trauma is it's like a stack of pancakes. Every trauma is a pancake, and every other trauma is another pancake. And so you're not getting rid of pancakes, you're just stacking pancakes.
Gotcha.
And at some point in time, you reach a threshold of being overwhelmed and over your capacity to manage and control. And so then you begin to develop, attitudinal behavior, process behaviors that get in the way of you being who you are at your best self, or who you are at your best job. And so we really believe, and we're excited that, that Cox Health has agreed to try this writing process, and as a way of just saying, we hear you. We know you've been struggling. We know you've got a story to tell. Let's give you a way and some assistance in helping you tell that story.
So we kind of talked a little bit about the major things that you got going on. Is there anything else as far as like moral injury and what you got going on that you kind of want to let everybody know about?
Well, I think I'm always available to meet with and speak to organizations in the community. I'm doing some of that right now. I've been able to do a lot of presentations to various healthcare, like home health hospice,
Okay.
hospital nurses, public health nurses, chaplains, but also I think just an opportunity to talk with groups that serve these communities, like the CIT. I'm part of that now with Springfield Police, to get some of this language and understanding into those communities is helpful as a first step toward awareness. And then we can help point people toward resources and caregivers if they need that.
Gotcha. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I appreciate you coming out here, Tommy. Thank you for everybody watching. What's the best way if anyone wants to get a hold of you and kind of communicate with you?
Well, we have a website and Facebook pages. moralinjuryinstitute.org as the website, and just Facebook Moral Injury Institute. And you can find there all the activities, groups that we're doing. Also, Joshua, I don't want to not say thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank Upward Bound for a delightful article you did in your winter issue 2021 on the writing group and the guitar group that we're doing, and help tell the story of Moral Injury Institute. And hopefully things like this really matter, and they help us connect to people in our community who may be hurting and in distress. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.